Yeah, welcome to the first ever competition. It's not just LVK, it's LVK versus BMP. That is the Lewis versus Kellen show versus the Blair Matthes project within the world of pulp. And somehow, Jason Weigandt from the superior media brand that is Racer X has lowered himself and ourselves to the level of these janky shows. And today we find out what is the jankiest, Lewis v. Kellen or Blair Matthes project. Steve, who do you want to thank for this abomination?
Yeah, this is awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Weege, for trying to find time in your schedule to do this. We tried Darkside. He was unavailable. JT was recording other pods with other people, and so you were the natural third choice. So thank you for your time, Weege, in doing this. It's a very familiar around the horn ESPN type of format. That's for everybody but Lewis, who have seen Around the Horn. I think it went on for 35 years or something. It recently got canceled. But Weege, you're the moderator. You've got the topics. You're going to surprise us with some topics, and then you're going to award points to each one of us, and then we'll combine my points and my very smart co-host, many say the smartest, Daniel Blair, and we'll see which show exactly has the biggest brain power in moto. Blair Matthes Project, or LVK. I do want to shout out Troy Lee Designs and Race Tech. They are title sponsors of the BMP show. TLD.com for more information. Please use the contact form on PulpMX to email us, and we'll send you a code to save with Troy Lee Designs. Troy Lee Designs, home of Dylan Ferrandis and Justin Barsha for 2026 on the Ducati team. Also, Race Tech, racetech.com. Love checkers. They got an air boot out for a YZ250F that my friend Chris Kiefer loves, and more information. It's all about getting more air in that YZ platform, and the Race Tech's got an air boot that works amazing. And tell them you listen to Pulp to get a discount on that, racetech.com.
And I also want to give a big shout out, of course, on the LVK side to Liat. There's 6.5 neck brace on sale on the website right now at liat.com. Protection is in our brand DNA, and it started 20 years ago with the groundbreaking Liat neck brace and continues today with an extensive product offering of protective gear and riding apparel. But what Liat really stands for is inspiring confidence and ensuring safety with every ride.
All right, so we got all of our partners on board. We'll mention more of them as we go along. So thanks to everybody for agreeing to be on this collab. Actually, we didn't ask them. We're just doing this. But yeah, Daniel, how are you feeling? Great.
Awesome, feeling like his mic continues to not work.
Yeah, feeling like we have no sound
good,
from Daniel. Yeah.
He looks good.
There we are.
Oh.
Hey, I hit the gate. My bad. I said winners find ways. It's on the back of my Club MX shirt that I wear every single day, and I'm straight up, I'm here to win. That's as simple as that. That's the only reason I agreed to do this was purely for the chance to smash Lewis and Kellen, who is typically on our side, Steve, but not today. So sorry, Kellen, but you're going down hard.
Truly the
Let
fraud
it be known,
today.
though, that we didn't jump the gate.
Yeah, truly the
I'm
fraud.
just excited. I'm excited.
Points for LVK. Good job. That's 1 point in the column. We didn't even get to a topic yet, but well done, Kellen.
Lewis, how we
Kellen,
feeling?
I mean,
Lewis, we know you're a
Kellen?
big fan of Around the Horn.
Yeah, I love it. Dedicated my whole life to that show. I aspired to be on it one day. This would do. I was super nervous, felt the pressure, but seeing as your team couldn't even have a mic turned on, suddenly feeling like this is going to be just fine.
Is that 2 points for Team LVK? I don't know.
We're winning in the trash
on the
talk
microphone
department.
thing.
I don't know if that's a separate score, but so far we're dominating that side.
Lewis is not aware that the show Around the Horn, they kept points and it meant absolutely nothing. We'll just make these guys sweat and think that it actually matters. Okay, we've assembled a bunch of topics here, some that were contributed by you four, some that I just came up with now. They are the ones the fans want to know because I am the man on the ground floor that truly has the ear and the voice of the fans, unlike you sellouts who just hang out in press boxes. You know me, Matthes. I'm not one of these sellout guys. I talk to the people. So I know what the fans really want to hear. And you see that award back there, Steve? You see that?
Yep. I look forward to getting that award for 2025.
Can I take, is that a point I can take off of your team?
No,
Can I take,
there's no,
can I remove it?
no, none of that.
Can't go in the negative.
Can't go in the negative. All right, our first topic, and we will go around the horn. I will start, Steve, I'll start on the bottom in more ways than one with you, and we'll go up to Lewis. That's the way it looks in my screen. Then Daniel, then Kellen. First topic. Steve, is changing teams regularly, like Chase Sexton is now doing, this will be 2 team switches in about 2 years. Is that really that big of a disadvantage? I would assume this question, which came from Lewis, is more of a forget the reputation, just from a performance standpoint. Is this too many switches for Chase Sexton, Steve?
Well, considering that Chase said 2 months into Supercross that he was still getting used to the KTM, that I would think this is going to hurt Chase Sexton switching to the brand. Now, if you have a rider that comes out and just starts killing it on their brand of choice, say Davey Millsaps on the Rockstar Suzuki on the production bike, and all of a sudden he comes out and wins Anaheim, it's the greatest thing ever. Rick Johnson, 86 Honda, getting out, winning right away. So it really depends on how the rider does, and then that's what he tells you how it's going. So in this wild world of team switches, I would guess for Sexton's example, it may hurt him because we literally just saw him talk about switching to a KTM and still learning the bike.
I'm going to give you a point for that one. That's not bad. Now we go to the Sexton Whisperer. Many would say the captain of the ship. Steve, I don't even know if you're fighting over that position anymore. Lewis, too many switches for Chase to be ready.
Well, when I hear this, I have two immediate thoughts. One of them is Max Anstey in my mind, telling me that in the MX2 days, the only reason that Jeffrey Hurlings was so much better and he couldn't get to that level was that Hurlings knew his team, the team knew Hurlings, they had code words, they knew exactly what he was looking for, and there was none of that awkwardness. And Anstey always believed that changing teams hurt him in that department. So that could apply to Chase. But then on the other hand, we saw at the start of Supercross this year, Jet Lawrence struggled with the new Honda. So even when you stay within the same team, there are difficulties with adapting to a new gen bike and whatnot, similar to changing team and manufacturer as a whole. So I think that it could be perceived as a negative, but from a performance point of view, it maybe isn't as detrimental as some people would like to think. That's my say.
I'm going to say that I'll give you one fair point on it's not as detrimental as people think. But I cannot give you credit for the other one because, of course, you managed to get Anstey in the answer to a Sexton question.
And Hurlings.
Unbelievable. We got Ben Watson. Can you weave him in? Gosh. All right, Daniel, you're up.
All right, I'm going to give you 2 points because I want 2 points. First one is new bikes, new teams isn't really an issue if you look at championships. Cooper Webb in 2019, brand new team, won the Supercross title. Eli Tomac, 2020, brand new team, won the Supercross title. Justin Barcia, 2021, brand new team, brand new manufacturer, won the first race of the season. So I don't think that it's that big of a deal because usually the riders are riding off some emotion early before it really settles in. So I don't think in the short term it's going to be that big of a deal for him. I do think, though, in the long term, this could hurt him because he keeps leaving teams disgruntled. I don't see him going back to Honda ever. I don't see him going back to KTM ever. If this Cowie thing doesn't work out and he leaves another one in the same manner where it's kind of this disgruntled thing, I mean, he's sort of running out of options. Luckily for him, there's new manufacturers coming in, so maybe he'll never run out. But I do think in the short term, not a big deal. But long term, this relationship has to be better. And if he is to leave it, maybe leave it on better terms for better reasons than a disgruntled reason, because it is kind of nicking into his brand a little bit. So that's my thoughts on Sexton to Cowie.
That's my partner, everybody. That's my partner.
Excellent points. Steve?
That's my partner. Yeah, that's my partner.
I had to make up for hitting the gate. So that's all I got for the rest of the show. I'm out.
You know, Terrell Owens, and that's my quarterback. You know, he's crying. That's you, Daniel. Yeah.
All right. Okay. I love it.
Daniel knows that reference all too well. Okay, let's go to the second half of LVK. Kellen, your point on Chase Sexton.
I think the biggest thing really, and we heard Chad Reed on the Pulp Show talk about it this week, is the personnel change is one thing that is getting underrated with these changes. One hand, Jet has all these resources that he's been around almost his whole career, the people that he knows and trusts. So when something goes wrong, he knows how to relay that information to them. But for Chase, now he's at a different program that he's never operated with before, and people that he doesn't know how they react to things and what they're going to say about his feedback. So I think for the reality of it is that he may like the bike or he may not like the bike, but either which direction he goes with what he feels on the machine, how he reacts to what the people around him do is going to be the biggest catalyst on how he feels by the end of Supercross.
That is a solid point. I will give LVK one for that. Do you guys find it comical, and Lewis, do not weigh in on this because I know you just don't want to hear anything about Chase that could be perceived as negative.
This is sad.
Remember when Chase left Honda and he's like, I really learned my lesson. I probably wasn't mature about the way I handled them, but I was young then, and it'll be different now that I'm older. I will treat this KTM group. This is paraphrasing. I was young and I was immature, but with this group at KTM, it's going to be different. Steve, was it any different?
I would say worse. I would say that he wants to light that team and bike on fire if he has any chances to do that. So worse, yes.
Worse. I think I'm going to give him a point for that.
Yep.
All right, I will give Blair Matthes a point on that. Kellen, do you remember that? Is it almost ironic to hear the way this went? It's not that long. It's only 2 years ago.
Well, that's what I mean. Is that I think he even said in the recent interview that he did with Troy Adamitis that he puts a lot of the blame on himself for how he interacted with the personnel around him, and maybe that's his own version of blossoming into a more mature person, going to a new team and realizing some of the shortcomings of the things that he's done with his teams in the past. Could that be the case, or could we fall into the same rut again? I personally think we have to kind of see it to believe it. We have to see him jump through a few hurdles with the Kawasaki, with that program. And then once everything comes out smelling like roses on the other side, then we'll believe it. But for now, it doesn't seem like going there is going to fix all the problems just yet.
Matthes, I'm going to give you a point for the truth of, it was probably even worse this time. I cannot give points for Chase saying, that's on me, because he already said that the first time with the other team, and he did it again.
Didn't he unfollow KTM on Instagram too? So that's not really proven that you learned anything.
Yeah, but we confirmed he did that in August. So that was we did it early doors.
Before
First
the interview.
weekend of August, we were just hitting the button.
Okay.
Lewis, you'll have a chance to score some points for your team because we're moving away from the Chase Sexton topic now. And by the way, after that round, even with hitting the gate, I have Blair Matthes Project with 4 points and 3 for Team LVK.
Well, I was told I wasn't allowed to talk, which means that actually we were handicapped quite significantly. So we'll see you in court.
Your chance to score points is coming now, a topic that you can weigh in on. You know this man well. This is an Eli Tomac topic. And I know, Lewis, that you've made eye contact with the man and probably never been the same.
I've seen into his heart. He's seen into mine.
Was it black?
Connected.
Either one of them?
No,
What did
they
you
were
think
full
of
of
yours?
joy, wonder.
Okay.
It was beautiful. Tears were shed.
This is a great question that actually comes from a motocross and supercross fan named Lewis.
Great guy.
Did Eli Tomac back himself into a corner by not committing to extending his career earlier? Lewis, I'll actually start with you and I'll go around the horn that way. What this question really means is, had he not consistently said he wanted to retire, could he be sitting on a 2 or 3 year Yamaha deal right now and rolled it right into 2026? Lewis, you go first.
Yeah, I think this is quite simple. I don't even know if we can go all the way around the horn because it's quite cut and dry. Yes, if he'd negotiated better, been more optimistic about his future in the sport, he could be in the middle of a multi-year deal now. Maybe Coop never got signed. Maybe J Coop was let go a couple of years ago, and Eli's sitting pretty with the bike he loved. Now, in contrast to that, and everyone's going to laugh, my sources within KTM tell me that it's going incredibly well. He loves the bike. He's really excited. This is a step forward. It's incredible. So maybe this doesn't matter, and Eli himself would tell us, it worked out perfectly. I'm exactly where I need to be. But going back to the Chase question, I think that we can all agree at Eli's age and the difficulties that KTM had with Chase, the stability and comfort of Yamaha would probably be quite advantageous at this point. And truth be told, if he'd just been a bit more confident in his future in the sport, he'd probably still be there now. And I think that's quite cut and dry.
Okay, I will give you a point for that one. We don't have enough time to get into the amount of guys who first got on a bike, and now I finally got it. I don't want to go backwards and talk about Chase Sexton, who, Steve, wasn't there rumors like 2 years ago in like August he may have tried a KTM and he was instantly like 3 seconds a lap faster or some ridiculous story like that?
I spoke to Chase about this. I asked him. I said to him a couple of weeks ago, I was like, what happened that day? And he said he tried it on an outdoor track only, maybe the mistake, and it was indeed great, but again, outdoor track. And we know that he was fairly happy outdoors. But that did happen back-to-back with a Honda, and he loved it.
That is great journalism. And for you, another point for LVK. I didn't even see that one coming.
Why isn't
Daniel
Kellen
Blair
saying nice things about me like Steve did with Daniel? Why isn't that happening?
And then to add a point to that is Sexton did go out and win the outdoor championship his first year on the KTM, proving again the point that you can switch bikes and be successful in year one. Maybe not in Supercross for Chase, but he did win the outdoor title. Am I picking up on Eli, or are we back to Chase? Like what just happened?
Yeah,
Lewis turned this into a Chase thing. Imagine that.
Okay.
Let's focus. Let's
Weege,
focus.
what do you want from
Did
me, Weege?
Eli back himself into a corner by not just having a multi-year Yamaha deal, say 2 or 3 years ago, instead of this 1 year constantly thing that left him out to dry?
Yes, if he wanted to end his career with Yamaha, if that was by design, but that wasn't by design. His hope at all times has been to go year to time to see where he's at, because if he would have signed a long-term deal and committed longer, who's to say we have him now? Maybe he gets burned out because of that length of time, but having him do 1 year at a time is what's kept him in this thing, because he keeps coming up a little bit short of his goal, which obviously is to get back to a championship that got, probably from his take, robbed from him in 2022 with the Achilles injury. So the year at a time thing is what's keeping him motivated and keeping him in this thing. If he would have gone long-term, yes, a lot of things could have been different, but I think we have him now in 26 because of the way he's done it. So ultimately, yes, he had to leave Yamaha, but who's to say that was what he wanted, was to retire there. He didn't have any history with that brand before. So I think his loyalty is more towards his ambition and less towards the brand. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah, fairly decent point, but I'm not going to go full point there, although good point, but not full point.
So
Kellen, you're up.
Point, or we do halves, or no?
No participation trophy.
No house for you.
Okay.
I will. I'll go against my cohort Lewis Phillips a little bit. That I think that regardless of where his ambitions lied with Yamaha, this is where the road probably was going to end anyway. Maybe that means that his career would have ended at the end of 2025. But I think as we saw the natural progression of things, Deegan was going to get to a point where the 450 deal would happen in 2026 at some point, and that is the future of the brand. And we know that Bobby likes his guys more than really anything else. And Cooper Webb's his guy, always kind of has been, even though he left. And Justin Cooper is always been his guy. So Tomac's kind of the visitor at this brand, even though he's carried them to so much success. So I think if he did stay at Yamaha, this is where the road would have ended anyway. Maybe he would have continued on with a different brand, but I think in all likelihood, we would actually see him retiring right now instead.
Point to ponder. Let me think about that. Steve, what have you got?
Well, first of all, McGrath was on the cover of Trans World Motocross saying he will win on the KTM. So Lewis's people telling him that everything's going great means absolutely nothing. See Prado, Jorge, see McGrath, Jeremy, see just about anyone when they jump on a new bike.
I might have talked to a rider yesterday who just rode a bike that had never been on a Supercross track ever. Might have. And I don't want to name brands. Said it was pretty good.
Right. Got it.
Just saying.
Got
just
it.
saying. Yeah.
And I do hate to agree with the fraud, Kellen Brauer, but he's absolutely right. I think in the point of Justin Cooper, Bobby Reagan's a renegade, and Justin Cooper's his guy, and Cooper Webb's his guy. And from what I hear, deep in the star team, it really was finances that kept Eli from coming back. There's just too much money spent on their guys. So this road was going to end with Justin Cooper's ascension and increased salary, with Cooper Webb and his Supercross title bonus jump that he got. I mean, they literally structured the contract of Cooper Webb a low base salary for year one and a huge jump for year two because they thought Eli was going. So my fraud friend there is absolutely right. I think the end would have ended already for Eli at Yamaha because of finances. And even though Bobby Renegade, no one really knows what the hell's going on with the money he spends, it was going to end.
Because Kellen made the same point, I will give you each a point. And Lewis, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I'm confused because Steve's point is looking at it very zoomed in. The question is a wider outlook. And again, if Eli had committed early doors to a 2-year deal, a multi-year deal, the Webb negotiations wouldn't have started in the same fashion and whatnot, and there would have been a chain reaction across Webb, J. Coop, and Deegan. So yes, that's all relevant to this situation, but the reason why we're in this situation is the question, and that's Eli never committed.
But as Kellen said, if Eli had committed, this year it would have been over with the increased salary jump of Justin Cooper, the increased jump of Cooper Webb. So we were looking at Eli Tomac switching teams in 2026, even if he had committed back then.
Yeah, I will
Lewis?
agree with that because the main time he was in flux was heading into 2024. So realistically, he would have got a 2-year deal at most, which would still expire right now, and we're in the same situation.
But
So I
listen,
would agree.
Weege knows this. Weege knows this. There's nothing worse than the Brett Favre, I'm out, I'm retiring, I'm back, I'm in, I'm retiring. Now, Eli wasn't that bad, but literally said in press releases, we're going to give it one more year, we're going to do it one more year, et cetera, and then, which is his right to keep going. But, you can't blame anyone for, moving on.
This is incredible. Lewis just made a great point to prove his own point wrong. So does he get points for that? He actually argued himself. Hey, you're right. It actually would have been a 2-year deal that would have been up at the end of 25. That's incredible.
So who gets a point
for that?
Points around.
I guess they're going to negate each other. No points for your team. Now that he's argued himself, he realized the 2-year deal would have been up right now. I agree from the standpoint of, even if 3 years ago Eli asked for an 8-year deal, at some point Yamaha, and I don't think it's just Bobby, it's Yamaha, would have said, dude, we don't know if we can do that. We see where Deegan's headed. Cooper Webb has been great from the very first Supercross season he had, and then he won the title second year. Like, all these things were not surprises, right? These things were all on the horizon even 2 years ago. So, yeah, I don't think he backed himself in. I don't know if it would have mattered at all. Right now, I have a tie score, 5-5.
Also, by the way,
yeah.
Troy Lee Designs, Race Tech, Zool's, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, Decal Works, ASV Levers, Alpine Stars, Stomp Grip, all as partners for the Blair Matthes project. Thank you to those guys. Use the codes to save with them from past shows. We appreciate that. And, of course, Troy Lee Designs, email us, and we'll get the code to save at TLD. And Race Tech as well. Love checkers, and get your suspension work done.
That's my teammate. That's how you get paid right there. Nice work.
Got any others, Kellen?
Yes, of course. We want to give a big thanks to Racetech as well over on the LVK side, and Nomura Partzilla also backing our show every single week as well. So thanks so much for the support.
And Racetech also backs the post-race weed show, the best media purchase they've done, much better than any other media purchase. Let's go on to, I think, the third biggest topic. Another guy switching teams, Jorge Prado. Now, look, we're going to have to try to not turn this into Prado Pod. We don't have hours here. So, the question to try to narrow this down, try to prevent 4 hours of bench racing. The specific question is Prado's best finish and overall in a Supercross race. Let's try to narrow this down. So I started with Matthes once, started with Lewis once. Daniel, I will start with you. Best Supercross finish for Prado.
So I can't give him a podium because that would be crazy, psychotic, and demented, so I won't do that. But I will throw out a fourth, and I think it happens in a Triple Crown format where the whoops aren't a factor. Because if you look at the way he starts and you look at the things that he's going to have to learn, because he's still going to be on this learning trajectory over the next probably year or two, maybe even 3 years before he would ever reach his peak at it. The whoops would be coming last. That's just how it works. So give me a Triple Crown race with a non-factor set of whoops, and I'll give him a fourth overall as his best finish. And I do think he's going to be the best version of himself here by far. He's got a lot to prove. He knows it. So I do think he actually puts in a pretty solid Supercross series, stacks points somewhat quietly, probably a lot of good starts, and just kind of works his way back quietly. But I'll go 7th overall in points with 1/4 on the season.
Those are solid numbers. I can't argue that. So I'm going to give a point to the BMP show. Kellen, you're up.
I was also going to go 4th, but for me, it's contingent on him making it to Daytona, Indianapolis, or beyond. Tracks that break down, like DB said specifically, I think is where he's going to shine the best. I think he's going to be comfortable in those environments on this bike, but I think he also needs the field to be thinner. I think if you have a full field, like it will be early in the championship, he's going to struggle to battle amongst those guys as they're all frantic and fighting themselves. So I think we need to have that kind of late season charge that we see out of some of these guys like Justin Hill in past years, where he jumps up and gets into a podium position when the field is at a thinner rate.
The field getting thinner, which we always forget, is almost inevitable at the beginning of the year. I was looking for that point. So point for you, Kellen. That is excellent. Don't forget Justin Hill getting podiums at the finale. Didn't McElrath have like a couple podiums this year? Like, these things happen. Steve.
Yeah, the field being thinner is absolutely correct. However, the thinning part will be Jorge Prado. he's asked what he's being asked to do is really, really hard. The AMA has horrific rules and regulations, the top of them being 250 Supercross guys getting full points for national numbers. But somewhere around rule number 5 or 6 of the AMA, their insanity, is an MXGP rider being forced to ride 450 Supercross. Ridiculous, insane, couldn't disagree more. But because Jorge won it, he is now in the 450 class. Congratulations, Jorge. Things are going great so far. He's going to get hurt. He's not going to make it through the series. It's incredibly hard what he's trying to do. He will get a best finish of a 9th, and then he will exit with an injury. And unfortunate that the AMA has made these rules to hurt my friend Jorge. And, it's ridiculous.
It's kind of harsh. Lewis, I will get your take on the finish first, but I'm going to give you a chance to answer this one. Would Jorge have raced a 250 class even if he were allowed to? Isn't he too proud?
Well, not to expose all of my private conversations, but I'm willing to do it for points.
That's why I asked. I want you to do that. Yes.
I spoke to Jorge about this at Washougal after my infamous press day interview, and he said that in the off-season at the Kawasaki track, he was faster than Kitchen, faster than McAdoo, and that proved that the 250 class was beneath him, and he needs to be in the 450 class learning that pace because there isn't enough for him to take from the 250 class.
So he had 200 more CCs, and he was faster than the riders on the smaller bikes? Okay, got it. Cool, Jorge.
On a practice track.
On a practice track.
Correct.
Right on.
I'd put Cole Davies up against him.
Great job,
10 out of 10 nights.
And now, not to make this into the Prado pod, but that confidence is what will turn this around. If he believes in himself that much, that means all of the noise won't affect him, and he can drive himself forward. If he was at all mentally weak, he would be in the dirt right now, refusing to crawl out into the sun because he would be so embarrassed. But he's so mentally strong that he can stand up and make these claims, and maybe that positions him to capitalize.
That's why he gets a 4th.
Well, and
sometimes
to that point,
confidence gets you hurt too. I'm not sure, but
this is true.
Steve, you cannot rail against the rules because he wouldn't have taken it anyway. Logical or not, the heart wants what it wants, and he thinks he's a 450 guy. I don't think he would take a demotion even if he was allowed to.
It's going well.
Daniel. Or did I already ask you? No, Daniel gave the 4th. That was solid.
Yep.
What the heck, dude? It's 6-6. What is happening here?
It's a battle.
Hold on, I didn't get to do the position. This could be a point.
This could be the tiebreaker right here. We have many more topics. It's not the end of the game, but go ahead, Lewis.
Well, not to echo everyone, I think that a 4th is going to be his best result. I think it comes later in the season on the East Coast once people are injured and potentially a mudder. Of course, we all expect him to be better in the mud than in the dry. And then on the season as a whole, let's say 9th or 10th, because I do think that although he makes it roughly all 17, he misses a round or two for a qualifying crash, a broken collarbone, something minor. I don't think there's an injury that rules him out for the entirety of Supercross, like Steve alluded to. But I do believe that he misses a main event or two because he's watching in the stands after a qualifying crash.
I like that one better. I know it seems ridiculous, but I cannot picture that he's going to crash himself out of it 2 years in a row. Maybe logic says yes, that is going to happen. But man, if that happens again, he makes it to round 3 for the 2nd year in a row and is out or something. So I think it might be more like that. He misses 1 or 2.
I think something that we've all forgotten about, though, and this only just dawned on me, I think something we've all forgotten about is the reason he was out for all of 2024 Supercross was because of a previous shoulder injury. If it wasn't for the previous injury, maybe he's back 2 weeks later because the shoulder goes back in and off we go. He was fixing a previous injury, not the Anaheim 2 injury. And that's what I think we see this year, just without the previous part.
Well, maybe he should not blame the nets. Maybe he should not blame the nets. Maybe it could have got way worse.
It would have been way worse.
I wish I could get JT on the show right now. He'd probably fight Lewis over that one.
I'll add this, too. He, regardless of how mentally tough he is, he knows the reality is that his bounce back comes in the summer. It's not coming in the Supercross series. If he gets hurt, it's going to be from just a mistake, because Supercross, you make mistakes, but I don't think it'll be from overriding, which again is why I do think he'll make all 17, because I don't think he'll ever push himself to a place where he's going to get hurt outside of something very odd. So I think he makes the whole thing because he knows that at Paula is when the true test starts, and that's where his redemption begins, because it doesn't come in Supercross. He has to survive that, and I don't think he takes any unnecessary chances. So I would lean toward him not missing any rounds because he'll know that Paula is where everything really starts for him.
I like that. I'm still going to go on Lewis's end of maybe misses like 2. Nothing major, nothing catastrophic. And JT will fight you. He'll say he crashed because it was a Supercross section and that's why he went down. Luckily, the guns aren't here today. He's doing
He's doing another pod. He's not going to hear this. Yeah,
he's doing 5 other pods. Okay. I currently have LVK with 7, 1 up on Blair Matthes' project.
Great stuff.
Next up, Hayden Deegan says it's time. Not time to race Ryder D. He's already done that. It's 450 time. This is in World Supercross. But I think what everyone wants to know is he really going to get back on a 250 when that's done? I will start with you, Kellen. Will he get back on a 250 and defend his Supercross title or race 250 East? Or is this 450 Deegs set in stone?
I believe he will be on a 250 for 250 East, but I do think we see him on a 450 at A1 now. I think that this all but confirms that he's going to spend a lot of this offseason riding, testing a 450, and that already kind of pushes his prep for 250s back to being a 250 East guy. But I think that he kind of just rolls that high of riding and testing a 450 and then racing it and going against some of these guys that he will have to eventually into Anaheim, try to go in without many expectations. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of fanfare, but go in and just do 3 or 4 races, see how it goes, and not put yourself in a situation where you feel like you have to battle these guys hardcore all 17 rounds to start off. Get your feet wet, go race 250 East, and come into 2027 ready.
Steve.
Well, point taken away from Weigandt, for rehashing the Pulp-MX show exact argument between 4 of us, a discussion, I should say, between 4 of us on Monday. But hey, whatever. Here we are again. Kellen's insane.
YouTube loves Deegs.
Yeah, and don't worry, Steve. I'll clean this all up and get our points. You guys just
Thanks,
go
buddy.
ahead. I'm waiting. So
Thank you. Listen, Kellen's insane. Hayden and Brian are not going to ease into 450 West at Anaheim 1 and then just drop down to 250s. That's just not going to happen. I'm just going to steal my take from Monday night. He's not great in Supercross. He's very good. He makes a lot of mistakes. He only had really near the end of the year really seemed to have mastered the indoor game. He needs more work. Whoops, all of that. There's no way he's coming in at Anaheim 1. Brian putting him in that position of dabbling his toes in. When it's time, it's time. It'll be a whole thing, a whole deal, maybe a YouTube launch, maybe, chemtrails in the sky spelling out Deegs on a 450. I don't know, but they're not just going to dabble at Anaheim 1 and then jump down to 250s. He's got more work to do. He's got to, as we said on Monday's show, he's got to just crush the souls of everybody in 250 and master that and then move up in 27.
I'm going to give a point to the Blair Matthes project on that one. Lewis.
I agree with the sentiment of what Steve said, but I do believe that right now on a whiteboard, if all goes well, he succeeds in WSX and then rolls it over to Anaheim 1. I think that WSX is what could make or break this. I do believe, and I heard the week before the Nations, I had a phone call with someone who had spoken to someone who said... No, it wasn't Max. We don't phone each other. Who said the plan is Anaheim 1 450 and then see what happens. And at this point, this person said WSX screwed up the PR and he's riding a 450 in Argentina for sure. The PR's wrong. And that part has been proven true now. So I'm led to believe this person who told me Anaheim 1, he's on a 450. And if it goes well, to answer the question, I do not believe he drops back down. And does the recent Master Pool surface not maybe support that a little bit?
Well, Master Pool is going to win the 250 motocross title. We all know that. And Deeg is not going to be competing for that. So it doesn't really change anything.
Lewis bringing up Master Pool during this question needs to be a minus point from them. You have to take away a point just to bring him out. You can't conflict Master Pool and Deegan in the same conversation.
You think Bobby's sitting there being like, "Hey man, we're going to lose this 250 Supercross champion, but guess what?
Yeah."
Okay, we're
bringing
in Master Pool
because we got Master Pool.
I'd like to defend myself if the judge would let me. I heard that part of the Master Pool motivation, if it happens, I'm not going to reveal my source, is that we are stacking riders so we don't need filling guys, and we're just stacking guys so that if people move on or get hurt or whatever else, we have them in the ammo holster thing, gun thing. It's there.
Well, I mean, to Lewis's point, if Deegan moves up, there's no way that Star fires Davies and Anstey on the same coast. They're going to have to split them up, and then they have to have a supporting cast behind them. So if Masterpool is one of the supporting cast riders, that makes sense.
And also,
they also have Cade Manier and Landon Gordon, who are on amateur to pro deals and can be flipped up at any time like Davies too. So they have at least they have 174 riders. They don't need Masterpool. And in fact, just since we went this way, if they even put him on a Supercross track, that is ridiculous. The dude should be ready. Get ready for Paula. The guy has no chance at being successful in Supercross. I'm sorry, but motocross, he has a chance to be a top 3 guy every week. So I hope he's just getting an 8-month head start on motocross. It's insane to think that he would ride Supercross and be considered as any sort of backup ammo at that. That's not being rude. That's just facts.
I do respect LVK for being teammates and doubling and tripling down on the point that Masterpool is somehow part of the Deegan equation.
I don't know how this
They're just bad
happened.
points. They did back each other on.
he's not a part of the Deegan equation. He is a supporting. He's a
Consequence?
sequel movie.
Is a consequence of the Deegan situation.
Yes, a spin-off.
I don't think those two things are related.
Zero.
It makes sense, though.
The only reason they're related is because Masterpool was seen in Brian Deegan's Instagram video. That's the only connection, period. Brian's video, Masterpool is in the little corner on the bottom right. That's it.
Yeah, I was wondering where all that buzz came from. That's where that came from?
Yeah, it was Brian's Instagram video.
Oh, my gosh. All right, Daniel, I believe you're up. Are we going to see Deegs on a 250 ever again?
All right, so I'm going for 3 points in this week. I just want to lay it out ahead of time. That's what I'm chasing here. Number one is I spoke to Brian actually last week, and so I have all the Deegan insight. And then I spoke to Hayden because I interviewed him for the World Supercross preview show. So I am the Deegan whisper as Lewis is the Chase whisper. I do not believe we ever see him on a 250 ever again. That's where I'm going to go, and that wasn't told to me. This is just my hunch because the idea is Hayden wants to move on. He wants bigger challenges. He doesn't want to play defense. He wants to play offense and go after people and not be at the top. And that's just that was said to me in the interview. So you'll all hear that. He's doing World Supercross as a way to test it out and get comfortable, get some gate drops, so that Anaheim 1 is not shock and awe for him. It's so that one is a little bit smoother. And I don't believe he would race 250 West because then he would be riding 450 on the East. I don't think it would go that way. You're right. If he went any direction, he would ride the 250 East, but I also don't think that's going to happen because I think you'll have Davies on the East. I also think you'll see Joe Shimoda on the East, and I don't think that he's going to go and dabble and then drop back down and interfere with his 450 motocross prep, which is actually where the real test for him begins too, like Prado. And I don't think they want to interfere with that, having him on a 250 at Salt Lake 2 weeks before Paula. So, no, I believe if the big board is the way it is, he's going 450 full time unless something catastrophic was to happen. But as long as things are somewhat smooth, dipping the toe in, Steve, I know you don't like that, but I do think that's the method. And as long as that happens and there's no catastrophic issues, you never see him on a 250 ever again.
So this is not based on a hunch. This is based on, they didn't say these words, but this is the vibe you got from the Deegan camp.
And the vibe I got from the idea of having to drop back down to a 250 after spending the next 2 months, 3 months, whatever, relearning how to ride Supercross on a 450 and then having to go and relearn how to do 250 Supercross again, which, again, I think that's the pass. So I'll add 1 point because I want one more point. Ryan Villapoto stuck around for his defense year, and he did lose to Trey Kennard, which was probably catastrophic in the moment for him. It didn't actually play a role because Ryan would go on to win 4 Supercross championships, but I don't think the Deegans would be able to handle that kind of a loss like Villapoto did, and going back and dropping to the 250s and losing to either Joe or Cole in the East would be catastrophic, especially 2 weeks before he makes his 450 outdoor debut, where he will not get a pass from anybody because he's already thrown it out there that he is as good as Jet Lawrence, and I think he'll expect to be at Paula. So
I can give you a point for the sources on Deegs most likely not wanting to race at 250 again. I cannot give you a point for saying he's more worried about his reputation being harmed. I don't think he's worried about Shimoda at all. There's more risk reputation-wise. You go to Anaheim 1 on a 450, what are the odds that it's going to go good? That's a bigger risk.
What's good? What is good? Because his first ever Futures race was bad. He fell, he got 5th, and then he turned pro the next weekend and got 4th in his first pro race. What is considered good? What does he need to do at Anaheim, San Diego, and Anaheim for them to go, yeah, this is good enough. Well, let's just keep going instead of have to relearn a 250 and go back to it and then, again, be on it all the way till Salt Lake City, interfering with your outdoor prep. Like, what does he have to do in Supercross to stay on it?
Here's the problem. There's two tracks. There's like the logical track. I would say the five of us who try to see things fairly neutral. That's what I'm good at. Lewis, I don't know if you heard. Yeah, if he's riding well and getting halfway decent finishes, I think people like us would be like, that's fine. But Deegs lives in the other track, the other world of lovers and haters. And if he even gets 7th at Anaheim 1, there's going to be 1,000 Jet Lawrence fans saying, suck it, Deegs. You're not as good as Jet Lawrence, even though that's not even a fair comparison. So that's what they're signing up for. And they'll also get mad about that.
I mean,
I don't
him,
think so.
do you see him top 5ing 450 Supercross right now? Because I do not.
No, I do not. And I think the fans, it'd be fair for him to be like, bro, I didn't top 5 my first race or my first couple. Who cares? But I don't think the fans around him don't react logically like that.
But
I think
he
they'll
also
immediately pile on.
He also has the ability to use a fair excuse, which is that he would be the youngest rider to start in the 450 class in Supercross next to Ken Roczen since the four-stroke era began. No one has gone in as young as him. Jet was already 20 and a half. Hayden turns 20 on the night of opening, on A1, on opening night. He has the pass all year long that he's the second youngest rider to ever go into the 450 Supercross in the four-stroke era in the sport's history. He has a pass all the way through, and he could use that pass. But you know what he can't use a pass on is going down and losing the 250 East Coast Championship. And again, interfering with the summer. So I think there's 80% he goes all the way and never comes back. It would take something catastrophic for him to go back.
You keep saying 250 East, even the British guy is saying 250 East, but like he won the West. He's got a number 1 plate. Do West, and then we'll get on a 450 to get ready for Paula on the second half of the season. Like he's going to do 250 West with a number 1 plate and then start riding 450 outdoors. Like the perfect. Boom.
If World Supercross went catastrophically bad. If it goes somewhat decent at all, there's no way. He rolls right into A1.
Well, listen, good luck with Vince Freeze and Cody Schock and Enzo Lopes, Deegs. I mean, he's going to do well at World Supercross. He's going to do well.
Cooper Webb at one of them?
Yeah, whichever. I don't even know which one's doing.
Racing. He's also not racing Cody Schock.
Yeah.
At any of the World Supercross.
You know what I mean.
You
know what I mean.
Points taken off for that, please.
No. I know this. I just made a point of it's. I don't know which rounds Justin Cooper and Cooper Webb and Eli Tomac are all doing. Nobody knows.
He's racing all of them in Australia. He'll race Anderson, Roczen, Webb, and Tomac all on the same night in Australia. So that's probably the night we find out if he's going to A1 or if he's going back to the 250 at A1. That's probably the night we find out.
The burning question here, in your talks with Brian and Hayden, did either of them mention that all of this revolves around Masterpool? And the career plan.
Lewis, you're hurting us.
You're
Actually,
really...
yes. They said that's why they're going 450 because Ty showed up on day 1 and was so fast. They said, we're out of this class.
We can't compete.
We're out of here.
That's why Brian leaked it.
As much.
That's why Brian leaked it.
That's why Brian leaked it.
Blair Matthes show, you've done something incredible. While the other two keep burying themselves at the Master Pool point, you two, Steve and Daniel, argued each other and both made fair points arguing each other, which was incredible. So you're actually scoring points by arguing each other. I now have you guys up 10-7.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
Daniel,
how did that go so badly?
It's time to divide
I'm going to
conquer,
assume
Lewis.
that you didn't just decide to wake up in the morning and start checking birth dates of guys making a 450 debut.
Bro.
I don't think you called our old buddy Clinton Fowler for that. I'm going to assume that the Deegans have already built their defense case.
I gave it to them. So
Then I think I have to remove that point.
Ken Roczen, Hayden Deegan, the only 2 riders in Supercross history to make their debut on a 450 as teenagers. Hayden's doing that next weekend. Hayden turns 20 at Anaheim 1.
I thought Brian told you that. Now that it turned out it was just your idea, I'm taking it away.
What?
No, you can't do that. Come on.
That's not fair.
Because I figured it was like, hey, Daniel, we've already built the defense case because we're racing 450s. Here's how we're going to get away from the haters. You just came up with this on your own?
You thought they came up with it, and then I went and spewed it all out to the masses? Like, no, that was my info that I gave to them. Brian was like, oh, wow, he didn't even know. That was my info, and I should get 2 points for that.
Yeah,
no, I'm interested in what they're thinking, not what
research.
you're thinking.
That's not true about 450 debuts, but that's fine.
Oh, wait a
That's
minute.
fine.
Oh, excuse me? Go ahead. Because I
Are
spent
you
a lot of
talking
time on
full
this.
season debuts? Because there's plenty of teenagers that have moved up to a 450 early.
Give me the plenty, because it's Ken Roczen.
Ryan Dungey, Josh Hill. Like, how far down the list do you want me to go?
Okay, maybe it wasn't all 450s, and maybe it was since. Maybe it was since.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
Okay, Yeah.
I don't
maybe
even
it
know
was-
where the points are anymore.
I don't know either, but
no.
I didn't go back that far. I went back to the
Here's
era
my
of
math
guys that
now.
are racing. I went to the guys that are racing. That's what I did. So.
Well, yeah. Yeah, he just missed a small point about current racers. That's what he missed.
Yeah,
that point.
I went of all the current racers because I
Okay,
looked up
there we go.
Eli and Jason and Chase and Jet.
Yep.
I looked up
Boom.
everybody, including Jet, who was
Boom.
20 and a half when he made his Supercross debut on a 450. So
I cannot wait now when the Deegan YouTube channel says he's the youngest in the 450 era ever, and we already know that Josh Hill did it.
Well,
At a younger age.
hopefully he does his research and doesn't just take my word for it.
And also, like, to me, when you look at Bradshaw and Chicken and Larry Ward and those guys, I mean, no, they're not in the 4-stroke era, but like they're in the premier class. The premier class is the premier class, and so what's the difference
All
between
right.
1995 debuts and 93 debuts over 2000?
Here's where it came from. All right, of all the current racers, Kenny's the only one that was a teenager when he did it, and Hayden's racing Kenny next weekend in Argentina. So it was part of my research, and then through that research, I found out he turns 20 at Anaheim 1.
Yep,
so
keep that point. Good job.
Okay.
So this is a WSX point. It's WSX specific, just for that lineup.
For the debut. For the debut, yes. But it's still
We're
something
so
that
lost
can
in
be
the sauce
used.
here. We're
Weege,
so
if
lost.
you like birthdays, then Chase turned 26 on September the 23rd of this year. So I'll take that point. I worked that out for myself.
I don't.
You said you liked what Daniel put in the effort to figure it out, and I've just given
No,
him
I
some
mean,
it
it point away
ties
because I
into
thought it
his-
was the Deegans had put in that
don't do
effort
that.
because they were already building their case. They just had a case handed to them, so it doesn't really indicate
Look,
where their head is.
I think Kellen should get a point for the stupid Josh Hill stuff, but
We
do
shouldn't
not
lose
take
anything.
Daniels. Yeah, we shouldn't lose anything.
How old is Ty Masterpool? That's what we
Yeah.
need to know here.
God. The Josh Hill one was good, and maybe Dunge. So I currently have it now at 9-8. 9-8.
We were at 10 at
okay.
one point.
We're 45 minutes into this. How long do we want to go? To the hour mark?
I don't know.
Okay. We have a couple other questions to pick from. We really got into the meat of it there. We had Prado Pod. We had Deegs talking about him on YouTube. We had Eli and Chase. Probably lesser talked about is Garrett Marchbanks. Steve, this swings back to you, I think. Or did you? Yeah, you started the last one, right, Kellen? Yeah.
Yes.
Steve, this swings back to you. I believe this is your reporting. You are 100% sure that Cowie will be announcing Garrett Marchbanks as the second 450 rider on the team. How's it going to go?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I didn't like this because of Garrett being potentially swept aside for a Levi Kitchen, if a la Joey Savacci and Adam Cianciarillo, no matter how good Garrett does. But deep sources said that Garrett has made this contractually very advantageous to him to take the ride. He's got another year. He's got his clothing deal that he can do. So Garrett played this well. Bob Walker's his agent. And played this well, took advantage of Cowie's desperation. And so now I kind of like this. Like, the only thing I wonder, though, is if he does finish top 15, another ridiculous AMA rule, probably not even in the top 10, but just outside the top 10, is if he gets top 15, he cannot ride 250 class without filing an official reinstatement. Now, we have seen those work before. Chiz has done it, and a few guys have done it. I think our guy Phil did it. But basically, yeah, top 15, if Garrett does that, which he should, right? He's really good. Then he maybe kicks himself out of 250s. But either way, he's making a boatload of cash. Good job, Garrett Marchbanks.
Solid, Steve. I'll give you a
Thank
point
you.
for that. The contract thing, that was great reporting. Lewis.
I think, look, it's not the most exciting decision in the world. Garrett is solid. He's going to be solid, yet unspectacular. I don't think there's much to debate about the results side. But what I do like about this is finally Kawasaki approving that there is a path from Pro Circuit to factory Kawasaki once again. I don't think they've done that since AC. And you could say that AC is an anomaly because we know his potential and how touted he was. They were always going to do that. So I think for the future of Kawasaki's overall SMX program, it's important to show the riders coming up through Team Green that there is a pathway from 250 with Pro Circuit into the factory truck, because they've lost that in recent times. Maybe that's
Would they have
irrelevant.
accomplished that with Kitchen somewhere down the road, though? Would they have accomplished that with Kitchen?
Yeah,
some
somewhere
later
in the
date
future,
anyway?
but still, it's nice to see. I think that it
Okay.
would have actually been quite a bad look for Kawasaki if they went for an outside hire, because that would have just made it seem as though they are so desperate to not pull from within their own talent pool when they've got riders there who are quite capable. I think it's important to reinforce the fact that that program, that structure exists within Kawasaki. I mean, if I'm a 250 rider and a 250 agent, I may be looking at Marchbanks and going, okay, so there is a path there. They are willing to promote from within. So let's set our sights on a Kawasaki career.
I will give you the point for that, mostly because, Daniel, you probably live this. The fact that Star and Yamaha have that setup has to be something parents are thinking about even 5 years down the road. So, yeah, I'll give it to you. It at least opens the door that Cowie can take you all the way through. Daniel, what do you think on the Marchbank situation?
Well, starting with the kitchen aspect, Levi is not defending a championship, so he's not 1 year away from going 450. If best case scenario, Levi wins 250 Supercross in 26, he would defend in 27. So I don't think Garrett would have interfered with Levi's pathway to the team anyway. He's going to be there for 2 more years regardless. So for Garrett to work a contract that allows him a safety net to be there for 2 years somewhat comfortably, I think it actually makes sense for Garrett. It makes sense for Levi. It makes sense for Mitch. It makes sense for everybody. It actually, all the puzzle pieces came together for Cowie on this really well. And I do agree with Lewis. This is good for the brand to show, like, look what can happen. We like our own. I think that matters a lot, and it needs to happen more often. I'm going to throw something else in this, and I hope it doesn't steer us into a bad place here, but I'm bringing up Prado because Garrett's summer, I think, is going to be more interesting than his winter because we know Garrett can come through the pack late. He makes passes. He's there in the end, and that's probably going to happen on the outdoors. Even though he's on a 450, he's still going to get bad starts. If Jorge Prado is doing any sort of the 25-minute layup thing, Marchbanks is going to be coming on late in those motos, and if he's coming through late and is passing Jorge, that is going to be such a blowout, especially in the comments for people, because Jorge had to leave that bike and it was so terrible. It was the worst thing ever. But if Garrett Marchbanks, a 250 guy who's never won a 250 race in his life, gets pulled up because of him and then comes flying in late at the outdoor motos and is catching and passing him late, that'll be like unrecoverable for Jorge Prado. So this move to me is not only about Garrett, it's about Jorge too. And it all kind of takes place more in the summer than in the wintertime.
Great stuff.
Somehow Blair Matthes has done it again. They've argued against each other and managed to score extra points.
We're a great team.
Yeah. Steve brings up that he had to insulate himself from the kitchen thing, which is a great point. And then Blair's like, he doesn't have to insulate himself because kitchen's probably 2 to 3 years away. Incredible.
Not according to Levi.
Oh,
don't argue your teammate.
Right.
Just take the point. We were at 10 once, dude.
Yeah. All right. Good job, Dan.
Thanks.
I'm telling, dude, if Prado can't hold off Marchbanks, we got serious problems on our hands. Like serious problems.
yeah. If that happens, I'll dance from a rooftop or something similar. I'll do a forfeit. How about that?
Yes, because it's not because this is 7 months in the future. We can't say that's ridiculous. It could happen. We don't know the future, but wow, that would be.
It's just something to watch, and if it ever happens,
Wow.
it will be brought up very aggressively by the fan base.
Hey, Marchbanks is legit 450 outdoors. He took
He
a
is.
piece of crap club bike. I'm
Whoa.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Thanks for watching, guys.
No. He took a Club MX bike to top fives, man. He is legit.
Podium.
Yeah.
High point.
He did win a 250. He won Daytona once on a 250, but it was pre-COVID and it quickly got forgotten about because
Rookie year.
then everybody took 3 months off.
No, but I'm just saying 450 outdoors. Like Garrett, like you guys are saying like Prado, blah, 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 blah. Garrett's legit, man. So
And who passed more people last year than Garrett Marchbanks? He's gonna be moving late in those motos. It'll be fun to watch.
Who has the balls to ask Prado, are you worried about getting passed by Marchbanks? Who's got what it takes? His answer is probably like, who is this Marchbanks you're talking about?
Guy
Is that
of
his
the
first
year
and last name?
Whoever the media guy of the year for 2026 would do it. Just throwing that out there.
Well,
Gauntlet.
Steve won't even be allowed to talk to Prado, so he's
No.
out.
Who is Marchbanks? I don't know who that. Odd first name. We're 55 minutes into the show. We will take one more.
it's Kellen. Oh, Kellen has to do the Marchbanks question.
Oh, that's right. We started with you, Steve. Kellen, go ahead.
Just leaving me out of the group. That's okay.
We are.
No, I will further the kitchen point in saying that we don't know what Kitchen's outlook looks like at all. So this is actually a win-win for Cowie and Marchbanks, because there's every chance that Kitchen has some struggles over the next 2 or 3 years, and he doesn't get to that level that they thought that he would be. That's the same thing happened with Forkner. When AC moved up, Forkner's the next guy coming behind him. Nope, gets hurt a bunch, and then now he's out at Cowie. So for Marchbanks, this could work out great. He could end up just being some sort of like Cowie staple guy on a 450 at some point, and maybe this Chase Marchbanks duo actually works well. But to the Marchbanks point, why this is such a good move for Cowie is that if they did pull up McAdoo or even went and got someone else, they get a guy that's so inexperienced in the 450 class. McAdoo had never raced the 450 class against those guys. Marchbanks has 2 outdoor seasons of experience and even an SMX series on a 450 racing all of these guys. So he wouldn't be looking at the names on the back of the jersey. He'd be totally comfortable racing all of these guys and not being intimidated really by any of it. And on top of that, McAdoo is a guy that was a title contender year after year in the 250 class to this point, whereas Marchbanks has slowly built back to that level. You could even say that the expectations are lower on Marchbanks moving up to this class, which maybe keeps the pressure down on him, allows him to develop alongside Chase this whole year and turn into a guy that consistently battles at the front.
I like it. I'm going to give Kellen 2, but Daniel, you're back and forth with Matthes, earned you 3. I've got it at, let me get this right now, 18 to 17 with one question.
I got one more point I want. In 2 years, when Chase is pissed off at Cowie and leaves, Levi's there anyway. So you're looking at Levi and Garrett in 2028. So
I can't compute with the Marchbanks catching Prado in an outdoor moto. Please don't make me start thinking 2 years down the road.
Okay, sorry.
When Sexton has to leave Cowie. Please don't.
Okay.
It's going to go well this time, right, Lewis? It's going to go well.
That's what I heard. No, let's bring it all the way back round to Chase quickly. It's going to go well because he's coming off of rock bottom. At this point, anything is going to feel better, look better, and make him feel better. So it doesn't actually matter what we think. From his eyes and his standpoint, the only way is up, which means he will perceive things positively.
He won a championship both years he was with KTM. It's not rock bottom.
I was a top-level factory mechanic.
He didn't win the Supercross title this
No,
year.
he didn't. Sorry. He ran
it was good.
Plate. He ran a number 1 plate both years.
That's a loss of a point right
there.
there.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
I corrected my own point.
I was a top-level factory mechanic for many years. That's a point. But I'm generally team. That's probably not a point. Team. But so you can do that. In the Sexton case, I will say that KTM, Red Bull KTM, they have some work to do, man. The shine has gone a little bit. Obviously, we all know about the financial problems, and that's not I don't know much about that, how that's going to affect them. But when you have all the issues that these guys have had, and riders refusing to race, bike stuff across the board, they have some work to do as a team.
I'm going to give you a point for that, only because, yes, I do believe that they got a little mulligan on Sexton because it's like, well, Sexton kind of did this to Honda. I know you said it was rock bottom, Lewis, but he also left a team that just had a bike that went 22-0 outdoors, and he won the Supercross title on. So that's a crazy situation to walk away from. But I think KTM gets a mulligan because it's like, is it a Chase thing? That Vial-Shock wasn't good, but I feel like they got a 1-year mulligan. Same thing. Maybe we find out the Cowie actually did suck, and it wasn't actually Prado's fault, but that team got a mulligan too. I don't think you get to do it with other. If Sexton's if KTM's bad also with Tomac, and Cowie's also bad with Sexton, then I think they're out of mulligans. So there is some pressure there.
But we give them a mulligan. But I think from Chase's perspective, fortune is in the eyes of the beholder. And Chase is the beholder, and he sees, from his personal opinion, that KTM is absolutely terrible. I think maybe, and
but I don't know if the outside world takes that seriously. I'm sure that's what he believes, and we know what Prado thinks of the Cowie. But do people believe that? I think people think Prado is a whiner. Maybe we find out the bike just sucked, but I don't think.
Well,
does it seem like anyone was on Prado's side by the end of the summer?
No, definitely not. But also, the bike doesn't suck. It didn't suck at MetLife. Chase's best ever Supercross, and it didn't suck at Hangtown when he went 40-1 either. So just wanted to point that out.
Okay. I'm going to ask one more question. I have several to pick from. This one's a spicy meatball.
Oh, boy.
The Coonan brothers, who I don't know how many fans watching this even know, they are both younger than Hayden Deegan, right? That is
Yes,
wild.
Reach. I can confirm that.
Yes, that is wild to think that while the world thinks the battle is going to be between the Lawrences and Deegan, that there could be a potential other set of brothers who could become Deegan rivals that probably most Deegan fans don't even know exist on planet Earth yet. So we're going to talk Coonan brothers. I guess they're going to race some Supercross, and I believe, does this one start with you, Lewis? Are you up to start?
Yes, I think so.
is
Steve
perfect.
started last time.
This is your wheelhouse. These are MXGP guys. I'm sure you know them well. How does this fit in to KTM?
I'll keep this concise because there are many different points and things to run with this. First of all, I've been told categorically the plan is Lucas Coonan will race a 450 at Anaheim 1, Sasha Coonan will be in a 250 class. So the concept that Lucas is going to do what Prado should have done and go down to the 250 is off the table. That's not happening. Which maybe gives merit to what Prado did if other people are also following that pathway. Secondly,
I was hoping you were going to say that because then Deegs won't be the youngest guy.
Okay, can I get 2 points? 3 points? 4 points? How many points for that?
Wait,
Okay.
can you repeat? Can you repeat on your theory on why they're racing different classes?
But I'm trying to win points, not win laughs.
Okay, all right.
I can do a sidebar if I'm not going to be judged for it.
Okay, sidebar.
The reason I believe, in my humble opinion, the reason they're putting Lucas in the 450 class is because in the 250 class, Sasha will be on the track. So if Lucas is in a different class, he is therefore not going to be a victim of Sasha's flying motorcycle at any point across the program.
Wow.
So safety first. We know safety is paramount. Keep Lucas safe. Keep him away from that 250 competition. Back to my
Wowzers.
spiel. So that
I'm going to give you a point for that, for having the guts to say that.
Oh, thank you. Guts and glory and all that. No, so that categorically, Lucas will be in a 450 class. Now, to zoom out a little bit, where I think this is detrimental is in MXGP, there are a lot of changes next year. Jeffrey's going to be adapting to a Honda. Tim is going to be adapting to a Yamaha. The door will be open early doors to make progress, win an advantage. And I've had top MXGP riders tell me already, oh, Lucas is racing Supercross? That's good. That will take some of the pressure off at the start of the year because he will inevitably come in behind the 8 ball, probably nursing something. We don't have to worry about him winning rounds 1, 2, 3 and building a massive advantage. So whilst that helps his competition, I think that's where this decision is short-sighted for the Coonan family because there's really an easy path to the 2026 MXGP title. And finally, in addition to all of this, categorically, KTM have told me the Coonans are not going to America full-time until 2028. So why race now? Do it in 2027. Get your feet wet this winter, do some practice, all of that good stuff, and then start the 2027 season. I don't see why you're starting a season 2 years in advance of your full-time debut. It just seems a little bit, I don't want to use the word desperate, but it does seem a little bit in a hurry to get beneath the bright lights when time is on your side. Use it.
Some great points there.
I just have a question. Can the bedbugs find Belgium on a map?
Well, can you? Because you call them Belgians and they're Belgians.
Yeah.
What?
Whenever you're talking about people from Belgium, you call them Belgians. They're Belgian.
And?
They're Belgians.
Oh, God.
Like N, not
This is
M.
where we're going with this. This is where we're going with
I've
this.
had fans
Well,
reach
you
out
can't
to me and
speak
say,
English, so.
Wow.
You
You
run
can't-
around Europe saying, where are the Belgians? Where are the Belgians? And everyone's going to say, we don't know what that is, Steve.
That would mean there's like multiple countries named Belgium. There's like a North and South Belgium, and the two together, like where Daniel and I live. We live in the Carolinas. The Carolinas. There's two of them. It's plural of the name of a country.
Okay, can I have
the
a point for
bedbugs
having
find
the
it?
guts?
God. I don't know if I can I thought the Marchbanks v Prado thing. Coonan on a 450 in Anaheim 1? Like, this is... where's the mind-blown emoji right now instead of my head? I can't believe this. Daniel, what are your thoughts on the Coonans in Supercross? Lucas on a 450? He's 18 years old. He's never raced Supercross at all. I know that was a big risk for Prado, but at least Prado had raced a 450 for 3 years before that. Daniel, where are we at? Like, literally, Daniel, where are you at?
Now he's got microphones issues
I'm
again.
here. I'm just getting my mic plugged in because I got
While we're doing that, can we
gotta lose the
clarify?
point.
Go to
what
Steve
points
while I
won?
get this figured out.
Somewhere along the while you've
listen.
taken the lead. I'm going to give it 15-14 LVK over BMP.
This is not, I'll cover for my friend Daniel. I don't like this idea at all. I like other things. Lewis will probably be proved as fake news that he's on a 450 for Supercross, but I don't think this is a really good idea, right? Like, they're just like Prado. They don't have a Supercross background. They don't have a French or Australian Supercross series that they can dabble in, and you're just going to jump into the premier class in America at Anaheim. It seems like a lot, man. And we've seen, obviously, Lucas had a fantastic year and did cut out some of the crashing, but he still was a bit erratic. Sasha is, yes, absolutely had some massive ones. So I'm not a fan of this idea. I think if Lewis is right, he's not right about much, but if he's right about them saying 2028 for American debuts, then yeah, dude, stay home. Just come to Anaheim and get a hot dog and a popcorn and check it all out, but don't race, for God's sake.
Yeah. To be clear, of everything I said, I think the 2028 thing is what I'm most certain about. Like, I was told that by multiple really important people. So I do believe 28 is set in stone.
Wouldn't getting a few races under your belt, even a year in advance, be more helpful than not, though?
Yeah, a year in advance, not 2 years in advance.
Why not? Like, get as many Supercross gate drops as you can. I mean, we all just made the point that Prado is so unbelievably far behind because he missed so many years of Supercross. These guys have an opportunity to do a couple for several years. They might have 6 under their belt before they come over full time, where Prado had 2 from the year
Daniel,
before.
you're costing us points, Daniel.
I know. Hey, so listen, I got some microphone issues going on here. I'm just going to throw out a couple points.
Go ahead. No, I can hear you.
Me?
No, we got you.
Okay.
Yeah, we got
I just
you.
sound like crap. Man, hit the gate and now this. So KTM has no 250 Supercross program because Juju's out till the outdoors, so they have to have somebody, which is one of the reasons why they're racing 2 years early. Because I know they're ambitiously wanting to get out there, and KTM's going to let it happen because they have to. As far as him racing 450, I think that is the most insane thing. I can't even believe it. It's shockingly a bad decision, in my opinion. And honestly, he's about to get the worst whooping he's ever gotten his whole life at Anaheim. And I don't understand that decision, especially when you have Eli and Prado and AP. I mean, the distractions on the 450 side are already so big with Prado and Eli that to bring him in is insane to me. So I'll just say that. And then, yeah, add a few nets for Sasha. And I'm out.
Those are solid points. Solid points right there. So I now have a Steve and Lewis basically cancel each other out. I'm going to give you 2 there, Daniel. I now have a 3-point lead going into the final answer, Kellen. This is like SMX triple points. You better bring it like Shimoda.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about this. Is it risky to put him on a 450? Yes, it is. And we don't know how it might go. But if you want to talk about a confidence play, this is it. Because he's basically putting his balls on the crossbar and saying, I will win an MXGP title in the next 2 years. And there's zero chance that I show up in 2028 and will be eligible to race a 250. So I might as well get all the 450 practice that I can right now. I'll go do 4 races this year. I'll do 4 races next year. And hopefully that's enough to get me ready for 2028. And look, if we even want to talk about Prado and his situation, he did those 4 races. And Lewis talked about the GP guys think, oh, Kuna's going to come in behind the 8 ball now. He did those 4 races to start off in 2024 and then won the first 4 GPs of 2024. So this is not a detriment to Lucas if he stays healthy to go out there, get some experience, and then roll all this momentum into winning right away in MXGP this year as well.
That was amazing. 20 points.
I don't know if I can put already has the MXGP World Championship. How old was Prado when he raced Supercross 2 years ago? 22? 23?
Yeah, 22, 23, probably around there.
I can't believe... I can't find any logic in Lucas Kunin making his Supercross debut in a 450.
But it is true what Kellen said. In his mind, in their mind, they believe he will be a 450 world champion when he moves to America. So they are planning for that. Categorically, that is the play. They're already working around the fact that 250
Kellen
will not be possible.
So Kellen gets points because they're crazy?
Yeah, I agree that he could, should, and probably will be a 450 MXGP champion, but I think trying Supercross on a 450 before one of those championship begins only negates your odds. Like, is he going to get out of there and make it to the first MXGP? He's a great rider and incredible talent, and the Deegs fans need to know he's on the map.
Is there
450 in Anaheim 1, and oh my gosh, Daniel, I had not even thought about that. You're already dealing with Prado and Eli on 450s over there, and then you got to deal with this?
You got Eli yelling about a cable clutch and stuff.
Gosh.
Is there a chance? Do you remember when Lewis's boyfriend Jeffrey was coming over and he was going to ride Supercross? And then
That was ever happening?
Yep, he came over. He rode some Supercross, and from what I hear, he wasn't very good. And after a week, it was like, "Hey, okay, I'm not good. You're not good. We're not doing this." But there was a chance that if he was good, he was going to ride Supercross, and it just didn't work out. Is there a chance Coonans are like that, or no? No chance?
Yeah, I think so. And Sasha already, their little test ride after the Nations, Sasha didn't take part because he's got a broken wrist, I think, from the MXON. So Sasha is already behind the 8 ball. So I think you can already maybe not expect him to see him at Anaheim 1. And I think the same for Lucas. If it's not going well, they're not just going to throw him out there, surely. Mm-hmm. Surely they have to have some perspective that the MXGP title is there for the taking. They have to have that in the back of their mind, and that has to take priority. They're cross-contaminating their career at the moment, trying to figure out if they're America now or MXGP now. Focus on MXGP in 2026, win that. 2027 is a transition year, bit of Supercross, MXGP. 2028 is America. It's clean. It's clear-cut. It's a good path that you can follow.
I don't hate that, what Lewis is saying strategy-wise, but KTM, again, has, because of Juju's injury, they would have no 250 Supercross program, period. No representation at all.
Sir, they have Cochran and Ryder D and Bennick, and they are on a KTM group. Okay,
are white.
But if your aunt has balls, she's still your uncle.
And in fairness, I feel like KTM have changed their approach with that now. If you look at the KTM PRs, in the results, they list for Husky riders. So they're very big on, like, we are one family again. So that would be more of a point, I think, 5 years ago when they were adamant that a Husqvarna was not the same as a KTM.
Right. We are all one big broke family now.
Wow.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You've got family, that's all you need.
We've got an hour and 10 in. Don't say anything now. That's going to get points taken off. I'm going to give the final score here. The first time I ever did this. This was a lot harder than I thought to keep up with what the hell was going on. But my final score is Team LVK 21, Team BMP 23.
Oh.
Boom.
No.
The incredible strategy of arguing against each other but making fair points versus Lewis's strategy of actually negating his own question about Tomac's 2-year deal.
This whole thing comes down to too much Masterpool talking.
Yeah, you blew it.
We lost
And that
too many points on that.
It's time.
It always comes down to Masterpool. Yeah, always.
And when
why did Brian leak
Masterpool comes out and wins Anaheim 1, I want points added to my tally here. I want us to revisit this.
Honestly, though, sounds like the 250 West of Anaheim 1 will be the weakest 250 West Coast of all time, since everyone is racing a 450 at Anaheim 1.
Breaking news.
Is Shimoda going to race 452? Where are we at?
Hey, breaking news. Club's whole team is racing west. I decided that just now. We're setting them all.
They're all racing 450s.
We didn't have time to get into the Max Volan or Cody Schock talk, but I did want to watch Kellen's head explode if we had gotten into it. But who was the top rider at Club MX?
Is this an especially spicy personal topic for him? I did not know that.
Yeah, I was hoping it would be, but that's okay. That's okay. Still a fun time. I want to list off our sponsors one more time. TLD, Racetech, Zool's, Seat Concepts, Firepower, Maxxis, ASV Levers, Alpine Stars, Decal Works, and Stomp Grip. Thank you, everybody, for letting us do this. It's cool.
Yeah, appreciate you, Liat, Racetech, Nomura, Partzilla as well. And this was awesome.
It was.
Good job, Daniel. You're my guy.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, everybody. That's 1-0 for Team DMB. If you want to hear Schock v. Voland, I guess check your local listings to find the next episode of LVK.
Come get it.
No. We got a number 1 plate. Red.
Oh.
Suck it, LVK.
Are you displaying that? Or is that handing it over? Is that handing it over?
I'm handing it over for now if they want to take it, but we're gonna come back and get it.
I've just decided the sequel should be gaming. We're going to play to our strengths. I want a gaming part 2. And gaming,
All right,
and then a
good stuff,
hurling
guys.
pop
Hope everybody
trivia
enjoyed it.
contest. That'll be it.
Yeah, it's over.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.